How y'all doing? This is Pastor Steve and
Chris.
you're on Chilling with the Pastor. This is our editor's room video after our sit down and our talk with Pastor Corey Nelson out of Grace Kids Church. That was another one of those conversations. That was another interesting one, mainly because his church mainly is kids.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few adults in this church, and the church is mainly kids that come from all over the neighborhood, and they bring themselves to church, and they are involved, and it is their church.
Yeah.
Uh, Pretty cool. And that's always been the one thing that always has caught my attention about that church, is how, I mean, it's like, it's awesome to see God work in these different situations and different circumstances, and this being one where there's kids that don't have jobs. They go to school, they have an after school program, and stuff like that, but yet and still the doors are still open.
Exactly.
The doors are still open, and in the midst of Pastor Corey receiving word at first that this won't last, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then what God ordains, no one can do anything to stand against it. I promise you. and Grace Kids Church, United Methodist Church here in Louisville, Kentucky, is definitely the shining example of that. So as we go into that conversation that we had, we asked the same question: when did Jesus become real to you? And we even asked him to differentiate the difference between grace and love. But the one thing that stood out to me the most in the conversation was probably about that halfway close to the end point when he said, as pastors, we have to protect our spouses in ministry.
Yeah.
That was the first I've heard anyone say that or mention that in any of these interviews so far, and I thought it was pretty cool that he brought that up, because it is actually true. We have to protect our spouses in ministry, because the truth of the matter is the church. There's some people that's not quite. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say not quite saved, but they definitely will have a lot of attitudes and don't shy away from conflict.
Right.
And there are a lot of arguments that take place in church too. I mean, no different than anywhere else you go. There's always one or two, that, kind of stir stuff up.
Yeah.
And, it's definitely best to make sure we kind of guard our spouses from these things, though it sounds like Pastor Corey's wife is not exactly one that needs protecting, for real. Especially as I've, been friends with them on Facebook and stuff, and just kind of caught a glimpse of her spirit and who she is. She seems like one that is not shy about letting you know if you've wronged her or anything of that nature. And my wife is definitely another one of those cases. I don't worry about that girl. I promise you, she can handle herself. But it is good, because it also goes both ways.
Yeah.
That your spouse can do things to help protect you as well in ministry.
So kind of like I know I saw this picture one time where it was like 2 lions. No, it was 3 lions. It was 2 male lions and a female lion. Mm-hmm. And the 2 male lions, which I'm gonna quote Lion King here, like Mufasa and Scar.
Yeah.
And then Sarabi kind of protecting how she was protecting his neck.
Mm-hmm.
So like she's still kind of like, behind letting him handle his business.
Right.
But I mean, she's still ready to protect him at all costs.
Right.
Right. Just in case something goes wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's a perfect example, a perfect little metaphor for that as well. Y'all did just see me pull my pastor's rag out too, just so you know. But yeah, what was the other thing that stood out in that conversation for you?
So for me, kind of similar to what you said, was the advice he got about marriage from his geometry teacher, was how with the relationship, if you find yourself giving more and getting less, it's still in its own way balanced. Kind of like if you're giving 60 but you're only getting 40 back, like you're still blessed. I think it's what he said. Which I know for me, I can give a lot, and I really don't even expect much. I don't expect anything back. So anything I get back is kind of like bonus to me.
Right.
I mean, I'm content with what I have and what I do. So.
And you know, a lot of people see contentment as being a negative thing, but you know, to be content with what you have, it's biblical. You know, the Bible definitely tells us that. Excuse me, the Lord definitely tells us to be content with where we are. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much to say that, hey, don't expect to move past any point at any point. You're gonna stay where you are financially. You're gonna stay where you are in your job. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna stay where you are in your position in the church. But it's just to say that find joy and happiness where you are right now.
Yeah.
The Lord will bring the rest.
Definitely. And
I'm gonna let Chris talk. I'm cooking right now.
So even with that, I know for me at my church, Coke Memorial, I've been running kind of the technical stuff for 12 years. It'll be 13 this year. And I know for a little bit there, felt like I was getting drained. I was getting worn out. I was just tired because I was just doing it constantly. And I was just like, I was just burnt out. I couldn't do it. I mean, I could do it, but it didn't give me the same joy as when I first started. So I was like, I still did it, but my whole heart wasn't in it like it was when I first started. So I took a Sunday off by my pastor's advice because, they just said, you need a break. So I took my break, and even in taking that break, I was bored. I was kind of like, I miss it. Which I know sounds strange, but I think in that moment of me stepping away from it, I realized that's what I'm meant to do. Like, that's my gift and that's my area. Which, I was 12 when I started, and now I'm 24. And just knowing from that young age that I wanted to do that, to continue to do it now, I understand that it does bring me the joy that I didn't realize I was getting from it until I stopped doing it.
And that's awesome right there too. You know what I'm saying? And if you listen to any of my videos, you know I use that word awesome a lot, and that's a God thing for me. Because really, it's not until you step back that you found your appreciation for it again.
Right.
That's pretty cool though. Yeah, and I will say that when you took your break, you just sitting and not doing anything looked weird for me as well. Not used to that.
Right.
I was
sitting there, I was kind of like, can I push play and see you play or something?
Just the bored. I'm bored. So let me hold up my phone and play some music for you.
Let me record a video real quick.
You need a video? Let's do a little short clip.
I need something.
It's something, you know. But yeah, that's pretty cool though that, you know, God brought you to that place to help you see and find a new appreciation for the same thing that you've been doing practically your entire life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. More than half your life. So that's pretty cool. So we're gonna change gears for a second. So we had Pastor Corey, Grace Kids, United Methodist Church here in Louisville, Kentucky. You're gonna see in the description below where you can go to the website if you like. If you have a heart for kids and you want to donate to or do anything to contribute, you know, to help this kids' church to stay alive. Because as you heard me say, none of them have jobs. I mean, they're kids, but they definitely could use whatever, you know, to help out and keep this ministry, this awesome ministry going. So you'll look in the description below. You'll see that if you actually go out there in YouTube and you research and you do a search for Grace Kids Church, they were actually on the news, local news station a few weeks ago on WLKY as well. Pretty awesome. So, you know, God is really working in some tremendous ways to make sure that this ministry stays alive, and we're going to continue to pray for them. We're going to continue to lift them up, and whatever we can help, whatever we can do to help them to keep things going, we're definitely going to contribute to that.
Yep.
Because God's the one who's actually got these wheels turning. Exactly. He's the captain of the ship. So we're going to be his first mate and his helpers and all that stuff, and we're gonna make sure the ship stays afloat. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So our next video though is gonna be with the district superintendent of the Heartland District here in Kentucky in the Kentucky Annual Conference.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pretty cool conversation. I call him the pastor of pastors, because I mean that's basically his position, right? You
That's
know,
true.
he pastors the pastors. So he's a really down to earth dude. I mean, he's real cool. He has a heart for ministry for sure. You hear and see his heart when you listen to him. And this is a two-parter.
Yeah.
This is a two-part video, two-part series interview. So check it out. It's definitely, you're going to get some nuggets in this one. All right, nuggets. But hey, I thank y'all for listening. I thank y'all for viewing our videos. I thank y'all for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so by clicking on the subscribe below and click on the little bell, and you'll get notifications for whenever we upload content. We're gonna start going and shifting in some different directions here, folks. We're gonna do some different types of videos other than just sitting down doing interviews. And in our editor's room, we have some brainstorming that we've been doing, some good ideas we've been dabbling with, and we're definitely gonna get some more content out there to you guys. So stay tuned. Click that bell. It's the only way you're gonna know when there's something new on here. So for me, that's all I got to say to you today. You got anything for him, Chris?
Peace.
Peace.